This book is awful. Here's why. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is one of the dumbest financial guru books I have ever read in my entire life. It contains tons of wrong advice, bad advice, dangerous advice, and virtually no good advice. As the back of the book says, Rich Dad, Poor Dad will explode the myth that you need to earn a high income to become rich. It will challenge the belief that your house is an asset. It will show your parents why they can't rely on the school system to teach their kids about money. It will define once and for all an asset and a liability. And it will teach you what your kids need to know about money for their future financial success. This book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it was written by Robert T. Kiyosaki. Robert T. Kiyosaki is a scam artist, essentially. He fills this book with tons of ridiculous advice, things that are straight up illegal or incredibly dangerous, and a lot of ideas that are just generally common sense. Nothing in this book can be considered useful from my opinion, and I honestly feel like even as a story, this book is practically made up completely. However, for this story, I don't actually have to assume that it's completely made up, because it is. On August 15th, 2001, Robert T. Kiyosaki admitted that he fictionalized most of the accounts in this book. To quote him directly, although based on a true story, certain events in this book have been fictionalized for educational content and impact. However, marketing a book as a non-fiction, whenever most of the accounts are fictionalized, is illegal. Actually, let's keep a tally, right here, about how many things illegal this book has done. First, let's start with some easy stuff that's not illegal. This is just bad advice. First off, college is for suckers. Quote, Robert T. Kiyosaki. Now this advice is not just idiotic, it's also dangerous, considering that it has been proven in multiple studies that people who have college degrees are going to have a higher payroll than people who do not. On average, people earn more whenever they have a college degree. Another amazing quote from the book, if you're gonna go broke big. Did you not see any problem in putting this in? Logically speaking, that's really stupid. If you're trying to conserve money, the last thing you want to do is go broke big. That means losing all your money, which I understand what he's trying to get at. Invest. If you're investing in a bunch of dumb things, you're going to go broke. That's pretty much just a fact. If you don't want to go broke, then don't invest in dumb things. Here's some good old law-breaking advice, which we can hit the tallies. He advocates for having rich friends to give you non-public insider information about the stock market in order for you to invest smartly. That's what friends are for. See, I find this ridiculous because that's what laws are for, Robert. That's why that is considered a felony. That's insider trading. You go to prison for that. It's not good. He also recommends tax fraud by deducting vacations and health club dues, which is just completely illegal. He also brags about having a partner weasel clause in which his cat is his partner, which honestly, I find is a missed opportunity, considering he could have had a pet weasel and really nailed that point home. So an investigation was actually done on 2020 where they investigated Robert T. Kiyosaki and all of the different things which he was a part of. What they found was less than preferable, but I'll get to that later. In the process, they had 3 aspiring businessmen and they gave them each $1,000. Robert was then supposed to accompany each of these 3 businessmen through their first 20 days of starting a business and try to turn a profit, like he said that he could do in this book. The first businessman lost all his money. The second businessman made $0. Third businessman made $243. Based on the article, it seems like all he did was whine about the 3 would-be entrepreneurs and the short time frame and so on and so forth. And finally, whenever he was done, he told each one of them that they were a success in classic Kiyosaki fashion. Why? Because they learned. They were broke, but they learned. Which begs the question, as 2020 put it at the end of their article, does anyone really need 18 books to learn how to fail? And see, some people try to uplift this book by saying, well, it motivated me, Kiyosaki motivated me. He might not have given good advice, but at least he gave me advice that could make me go out into the world and start investing by lying to you. If I told you there was $100,000 that I buried in your backyard and it was just waiting for you to go and get it, then you would start digging in your backyard. Why? Because there's $100,000 there. Of course you would go. Whenever you dig up your whole backyard and there's no $100,000, you're going to look at me. Are you going to thank me? Because I gave you all of that great exercise. I motivated you to go out there and do it. Let's actually talk about how many of these points he legitimately covers. Teach you what to teach your kids about money for the future financial success. When does he do that? I don't see that in the book. Where is it? And what about this? Define once and for all an asset and a liability. Let's read what Robert Kiyosaki has to say about assets and liability. Rule 1. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability, and buy assets. If you want to be rich, this is all you need to know. It's rule number 1. It is the only rule. This may sound absurdly simple, but most people have no idea how profound this rule is. Most people struggle financially because they do not know the difference between an asset and a liability. It seems to me that there's a lot of art of the deal style stuff rolling around here, and it's not actually explaining anything in depth by the end of the book. In fact, I think it was here. That looks right to me. Honestly, this is my final opinion on the book. If you want to increase your financial literacy, do not read this book. Reading this book will probably decrease your financial literacy. It will make you more confused on everything that has to do with finances. It could probably, hopefully not, but possibly make you do something illegal. Is it worth it? No. You can definitely buy other self-help books if you're really that interested. After all, Tai Lopez wrote one. Donald Trump wrote one. Those are some great choices. In fact, there is a whole slew of financial self-help books out there on the internet. Just any of these. Pick one. Any of them. I guarantee that they will help you more than this book will. So now that I'm done talking about the book, let's talk about Robert Kiyosaki by himself. Straight up a scam artist and a fraud. From 1990 to 1995, Kiyosaki worked with Amway in a multi-level marketing scheme. That is, a pyramid scheme, illegal. And it makes people feel cheated. And it made all of his customers feel cheated. But it didn't matter, because they purchased 26 million books from him. By the way, those 26 million books are the only reason that he is rich. Well, let me tell you this. Robert Kiyosaki did not have hardly any money before publishing Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Why? Because most of the accounts included in Rich Dad, Poor Dad are fictionalized. He says that he has rental businesses in 3 states, Wyoming, Arizona, and Texas. Why would he do that? This may just be part of my financial philosophy, but if you're owning 3 different rental estates in 3 different states, why? Whenever you own 3 different rental estates, say they're all right next to each other. If that's the case, then you're able to get the same people staffing each area, and you won't have to pay extra for flights out, flights back. You can manage them all from the same place if you live nearby. It seems very, very efficient. However, if they're in 3 separate states, the only thing that does is make you sound cool. However, sounding cool and actually having financial literacy are 2 different things. So maybe Robert needs to take a page from his own book. Or maybe not. By the way, that illegal tick marker hasn't gone away yet. Let's look at some more things that good old Robert's been into. He advises vulture real estate purchases. He advises taking on more debt with credit cards than you can possibly pay off. He advises declaring bankruptcy whenever one's plans go awry. He has admitted that he has partnered his real estate firm business with his seminars in order to increase their profit. Here's Robert Kiyosaki on InfoWars.
Maybe Robert Kiyosaki can comment. He's friends with Trump, co-authored 2 books with him.
Well, Alex, I give you credit because you're the bravest man in the world. All of these years, you've been talking about fake news. And I think it behooves every one of us to really seek out what real news is.
Wow. Ironic. Robert Kiyosaki has said that he has had a huge enterprise of businesses. He's done everything, he's done everything. He is able to retire right now if he wanted to, but for some reason, he's not telling exactly how much money he has. And another thing, he's not telling how much money he makes from those huge enterprises. So, this is the thing. Robert Kiyosaki has money. We can assume this, even though he said that he's gone bankrupt many times. But we can assume that now he has at least some money. In that, he says in his book, bragging, that he has a Porsche, a Mercedes, a Rolex, $400 golf clubs, and things like that. Kiyosaki says a number of things that imply that he is rich. He says things like, I'm free to do exactly what I want, when I want, where I want. I can stop working if I want to. Money buys me freedom. Kiyosaki claims, I own companies. I'm a major shareholder in oil and mining companies, plus real estate companies. I have intellectual property companies. But he won't identify any of them. And it's also kind of funny, no companies have ever affiliated themselves with him.
We're in Vancouver with Rich Dad guru Robert Kiyosaki, putting complaints to him about his investment workshops. Our talk takes a revealing turn.
People feel that it's more a big sales pitch to spend more money on Rich Dad than actually getting a basic education in real estate.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, and it is a challenge for me.
He agrees?
But what these guys are doing, they're not my company, they're a licensing.
How is it not your company?
Well, it's a license of my company, and they're operating, should I say, legally under the auspices of my license.
Kiyosaki says, I keep my holdings private. You know why that is? Lawsuits. If they know you have money, you get sued. To quote John T. Reed, let me get this straight. Kiyosaki says he's rich, that he makes millions of dollars, and is about as high profile about his wealth as you can get. Best-selling How to Get Rich books, appearances on TV shows like Oprah, interviews with daily papers and national magazines. Yet he won't disclose any details because he doesn't want people to know that he has money. See, I think that's his biggest problem. He'll sing from the rooftops about how much money he has and how useful he is. But whenever it comes down to the line, he's never willing to prove it. I'm assuming that the real reason Kiyosaki doesn't want to reveal any of the data surrounding his expenses is probably because A, it was much smaller before he got rich by selling his books. B, he did not get it in the way that he implies. For example, he had no money before, then wrote a book about having money, sold the book, and then started making money from the book. C, he achieved the wealth in an unethical or immoral way. Or D, all of the above. In 2015, he advocated the purchasing of gold in Manila because he thought that there would be a worse financial crisis in 2016 than there was in 2008. However, that never happened. In this, I've had to build up my own financial philosophy, and my own financial philosophy goes something like this. If you work hard in the right ways, you will do well. My personal social philosophy focuses around the fact that human beings have to work together in order to create something truly beautiful in life, and that's the purpose of being here. And in that social philosophy, my financial philosophy also blossoms. In working hard, you have to really be able to focus. Really focusing on things and expanding your own horizons in order to open up other people's views are also very important. With financial philosophy, it's important in order to know how to make your own money. And making your own money includes working hard, and not scamming other people. You can do it legally, and you can help your fellow man in the process. If you work hard, you will make money. If you budget and save, you will save money. In order to get a job, you need to work hard. You need to always be searching. You need to stay opportunistic, and if you do that, you can stay rich, you can become rich, you can be rich. It's not as easy as Kiyosaki makes it sound, but if you work hard, you can do it. That's my own financial philosophy. And finally, if you can, go to college. College helps. Even if it's something small, it will help. And you will continue to do well in life if you are able to put on your resume that you went to college. People love that, especially employers. And just a small note. not all suckers go to college. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day.